Hello. Welcome all, and thank you so much for stopping by. Guys, I saw this video from Smug Alana this morning, and I thought immediately, okay, this is going to need a reaction in and of itself, because we're actually covering a less political topic than we usually cover on this channel, but it is one that I can act as a primary source for, especially given my unique position as a new VTuber, I suppose. I actually consider myself more of a commentator, but given that I do talk through the flashing PNG of Lord Intellectual here, a lot of people have listed me as a VTuber, and hey, look, I do see the logic and reasoning behind that, and yeah, I do agree with it, so I'm happy to be part of the community. And given that we have launched this channel, our 1 month anniversary was literally yesterday, it puts me into a unique perspective to comment on a lot of this. The truth about VTubing. So if you're not aware, VTubing stands for virtual YouTubing, basically, is the crux of that. Now, it basically refers to any kind of content creator that will speak through a digital avatar. My one is fairly simple here, and I've spoken before that that's largely just down to running Arch, and it's down to technical limitations. This originally was going to be a 2.5D rigged model, but long story short, the software has a few issues on Arch. So when I saw this, I thought, this is going to be excellent, because for those of you who don't know, most of you will, Smug Alana is my favorite VTuber. I have been following her for quite some time. I love her takes. I love her content. Although she might be given a bit of a run for her money recently with Amber Paradox and Lusty Links, I will admit, but I have personal interaction with both of those, so consider me biased. But as I am new to the VTuber scene, I played this video a few seconds to see what exactly it was about, so I got about 20 seconds in, and she starts off referring to an X post that went viral, and I was actually there in real time watching all of the comments and reactions coming through. And I believe that if you are looking to get into VTubing, or you are in the VTubing sphere, this will be a really good video for you to watch. Now, I will also state at the start here, because Smug Alana's video is 40 minutes on its own, and then I add my own reaction on top of that. This is probably going to be a fairly long video, so I do recommend you watch at 1.25 or 1.5 times speed, whatever is comfortable for you. So let's see what Smug Alana is talking about here, and I'll add my own perspective as we go, and I do hope that this works as a good primary source moving forward, because this is one of those things as well, guys, where we might be aware of it today, but think about it in 10 years, all of the nomenclature, all of the language that we use, like in 10 years, is the word ushi or oshi still going to be around? And I believe it's Karma Oshi, in which case I believe Smug Alana counts as my Karma Oshi. And a lot of the in-jokes, this is the type of ephemera that does get lost over time, and this is part of what I am here to both document and preserve within my own sovereign cloud. So again, without further ado, let's get started, and let's see what Smug Alana here has to say.
This came across my page of...
Yes, and she is in the bottom right corner, so allow me to move myself over and just get out of her way a little bit. There we go. Smug Alana does have one of the best rigged and animated models I think I've seen. I absolutely love her model, and it would be an absolute shame to get in the way of that. So if you haven't seen Smug Alana before, definitely pay attention to all of the sympathetic movement in her ears, in her hair, in the other physics of the model. Those physics tend to be popular. And she really plays into it. Smug Alana is one of my favorites for a reason. But okay, let's continue.
My page a few times. Some interesting little thoughts here. There's loads of them, actually. This post went viral, by the way. Like, really viral. I think it got like a couple of million views, maybe even more than that. It's actually insane. My Twitter has been like inundated with these quote retweets to this post and specifically.
Yes, I can confirm that. Even though I don't have I don't follow nearly as many people as Smug Alana does, this was a huge amount of my feed over the previous few days, and I saw some really amazing takes and some that were just a little off the wall. Didn't seem quite so genuine. But let's see some of the examples that she pulls up. I wonder if we'll have much overlap there.
So I thought it'd be like really fun to go over the more popular ones and see what people are saying. So, this one says, In reply, VTubing is brutally oversaturated and most never make it. There are tens of thousands of active VTubers, indies, and agency talents, but only a tiny fraction break 100 concurrent viewers or sustainable full-time income. The vast majority stream to double-digit audiences for years, burning money on rigs, models, and art with little return. This leads to VTubers often adopting an unhealthy schedule, aka the grind, where instead of evaluating what's wrong with their content, they cope by streaming more hours, and that leads to a whole armada of mental issues, physical health, and loneliness and vocal strain.
Okay, so this is a really good take here, though I will argue some of the points here. So first off, yes, there are lots and lots and lots of VTubers, and many of those VTubers do struggle with gaining an audience, partly because of the oversaturation and also partly because of their own content style. However, you should never allow an oversaturation of a market to be the deciding factor in whether or not you pick something up. And this applies to both hopeful VTubers and existing VTubers who might be struggling to find an audience. We have personally exploded here in just a month. We have thousands and thousands of subscribers. Now we have tens of thousands of watches and comments and view. It has gone absolutely insane. And part of that is timing. I reacted to some Skyebrows videos, which certainly helped boost. But at the same time, you need to understand this is like any other field that's out there, especially any other creative field that's out there. If you want to be an author, 90% of authors don't make it. You are competing with an enormous pool of people. Any kind of, whether it's a streamer, an Instagrammer, an OnlyFans model, like every field that's out there that you can make a living off is going to have, especially that you can make a living off from home, air quote, is going to have an enormous amount of competition, especially with such low barriers to entry. So do bear that in mind. Never allow that to make the decision for you. What you need to ask yourself is, what is my value proposition, or why am I truly doing this? I started Lord Intellectual not to make money or not to become a VTuber full-time as my day job, that type of thing. But I started Lord Intellectual to be that intellectual voice that I so desperately want to see on the internet. And that is what we're doing today, funnily enough. And that just resonated with people. Now, I got lucky in that is what resonated with people, but you need to understand I would be doing this even if I had an audience 1/10 of my size, because part of the reason I'm doing this is to reach a very select number of individuals out there who are not seeing themselves. And the fact that it has resonated with so many people, I am so glad. We do all have some level of intellectualism within us. But being large and having a large following was never my goal for this. So you need to sit down and really have a look at yourself, and this is in any venture, not just VTubing, about why am I doing this? What do I want to do it for? Like, if it is purely a money-making venture, then you do need to prepare yourself for disappointment, and you do need to really get down into the business economics of it. It's far more complicated when you're actually trying to make a living off of it, because there are a lot more people trying to do that specifically. And if you don't have a lot of so let me say this: I am highly successful in another creative field that has nothing to do with VTubing. Maybe I'll touch on that in future, but not right now. And it is another field that is just as, if not more competitive and cutthroat than the VTubing community. The VTubing community at large is actually quite welcome and quite supportive. But this other field that I'm in, whilst there is definitely support from certain other creators, it is also a lot more cutthroat because the competition is so fierce. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble here, but the takeaway I want you to understand from that point is that you need to be doing it for yourself, and you need to be putting forward the content that you want to see with a mind towards the market. Like, you need to consider the market at least a little bit. By that, I mean, if you want to stream video games, you can't just start up Twitch and stream with no content, no avatar, no commentary, no music, no shorts, none of the other supporting stuff. The actual content creation is about 20, maybe 30% of what you actually do. And this reflects in that other field that I was referring to as well. The main body of work is 1/3 of what you actually need to do, and it is an enormous body of work. But the rest of your time is going to be spent marketing, developing, putting yourself up in those echelons of professional content creators. And that's going to take up 2/3 of your time. Whereas your actual content creation, it takes me about hour and a half to record one of these videos a day, and it takes me about 2.5 hours, give or take, to do all of the supporting the thumbnails, getting the shorts uploaded, scheduling all the posts, that type of thing. So if you don't do that other 2/3, you're already going to be significantly behind. You'll be behind 66% of other creators. And what he's saying here about it costing money, yes, but people also do fall in the trap of thinking, I need this super expensive model, I need to do this, I need to do that. Not really. You do need to have a personality, and you do need to have a brand, but you are your own brand. Anyway, I don't need to get too much into the economics here. Just know, whilst there is a minor barrier to entry, and that barrier to entry is very low, the path to success is steep, and there's a lot more to consider than you think you do. But at the same time, you don't need to just try and copy what everyone else is doing. You need to be your own voice, your own character, your own brand, and do what you are interested in and do what makes you happy. There are plenty of people out there who are just grinding, as this post says, and they struggle at it for years before eventually burning out, because there is a lot of heart and soul and effort and time that goes into these ventures. Anyway, I'll let Smug Alana continue.
This guy's pretty on point. Again, I said this from the start when I first started streaming, and I've always said this, even when I had, a couple hundred viewers. There is a degree of luck to streaming. This has always been the way it is. Hard work and being truly entertaining doesn't even guarantee that you will succeed as a VTuber or even a streamer in general. It doesn't. Has there only be a hobby starting out? Yeah, you should at least know if you like it or not. There are tons of people who are truly talented, but they never end up making it because they simply never hit the social media lottery to get noticed.
This is a message to all the men. I'm telling you right now, the kind of girl you want to date is the one that hates all men.
Anyways, the Smug Alana body pillow will never hate you, and you can buy it right.
Can I just jump it in here, because this is an amazing tangent. But we actually had our first Lord Intellectual, Dakimakuras, aka Body Pillow, day before last, I believe. That was someone genuinely created that, and I was amazed to see. And of course, I have Lusty Links holding it. So if you know the post I'm referring to, you know. But I didn't realize this was. There's good on Alana here. She is an amazing creator, and she deserves this kind of love. And I can't believe just the timing of that we just got our first Dakimakuras as well. Well done.
Now at gamersubs.gg/smug. A good example of this, actually, in my opinion, is the Asmongold effect. How many people have been proverbially touched by the golden hand of Asmon, as some people have put it? And then they start seeing a bit of success in regular viewership.
When you do get to the absolute top of your field, like Asmongold, you do naturally become kingmaker in certain instances.
Now ask yourself this question. Did Asmon suddenly make them entertaining? No, of course not. No, absolutely not. They were already entertaining and talented creators, but he put a spotlight on them so that people could notice the talent. I know this actually for a fact. Lucy, she had a couple of hundred viewers, I think, before she had a video watched by Asmon that was about Final Fantasy. Yeah, or background NPC, that was the most recent one. But I know that Lucy Pyre, she was a VTuber for a while before that. But I think Asmon watched one of her videos and she blew up. Because people realize, damn, she's really funny.
Yes.
She makes good videos. Yeah, legendary drops, Darth microtransactions, Casey. Yeah, Cassie, his little VTuber daughter. Yeah, there's loads of people that had the touch of the Asmongold, There was a Japanese VTuber that got popular because of him too. Yeah, I mean, I can name a couple of people at least. Like, there's a lot. But again, at the end of the day, if you're not truly entertaining, people aren't gonna stick around, obviously. Now.
Yes, that's one piece of advice I could probably give to aspiring or up-and-coming VTubers. People come to you for you. You are the only one that can offer you as well, I was going to say product. That's not the correct word. But you are the content that they want to see. So stay true to yourself, because if you aren't entertaining, it doesn't matter even if the likes of Asmongold per Smug Alana's point here, it's not going to help. An infinite number of collabs from larger VTubers aren't going to shift an audience if your own content isn't something that you're passionate about.
So there was this one too. Your audience owes you nothing. You aren't entitled to their time and definitely not their money. Bonus, stop being egotistical. Not everyone in your audience wants to sleep with you.
So this is referring to, I'd say, a very small number of VTubers. Look, maybe we can give them the benefit of the doubt in that they've been streaming or they've been creating content for a while and struggling to get anywhere, and they just have a blow up because they get frustrated. But yes, your regulars even, you can't, everyone has their own time. And this is part of what makes it a highly competitive field, because there's a lot of people competing for a viewer's attention and a viewer's time. And they do have a choice of where they spend that. And I could spin that off into a whole nother argument about how, liberalism and whatever will eventually try and remove that choice from you because you're not spending it on the content or the media that they want you to spend it on. But that's outside the scope of this video. Let me know if you want me to expand on that in a bonus video or in a separate video. But yes, everyone is as free as you are, and they can choose to spend their time wherever they want, which is why it's such an honor when people do watch my videos and come and spend time with me and the people that I like to support as well. But whilst this attitude is definitely out there, I would say it's in the vast minority of VTubers feeling entitled to either viewership or time or donations or that type of thing.
To be fair, this is a pretty rare problem.
There you go.
Any female streamer that nags their audience for donations and complains about the gooners in their DMs generally don't make it very far. Especially when they see the gooners in their DMs and then take that negative experience and then falsely relate it to their entire audience in a blanket statement. No, honey, just because like one retard is in your DMs trying to fuck you doesn't mean every single person, every single male in your audience is the same. That's not how it works. I'm sorry. I've had it happen too. I never blanket state fucking this shit, man. That's horrible. I know this for a fact. I know this for a fact. Most people in my audience, 99.99%, are probably just normal people who are just chill. Maybe they were like my model. Maybe they go into it. That's okay, but they don't fucking go and DM me about how they fucking are in love with me and shit.
See, that's an excellent point, because Smug Alana here has quite an attractive model, and so I would have thought that should be a prime target for that kind of gooning behavior. But if she's saying, and of course it's the internet, you'll never get away from it 100%. But if she's saying 99% of her audience doesn't even approach that, like, that's actually a really, really good sign. I'm glad to hear that. I saw a post from Banana Juju the other day, who also has a very attractive and reactive model, and who, again, I thought would be the kind of the prime target for that type of thing. And she was saying that, apparently her audience is actually fairly well behaved, and she doesn't mind if they do take that level of pleasure to her model, because it is, a fictional model. And she does talk quite frequently about spending time with her husband and whatnot. I comment on a lot of Banana Juju's stuff. She's another great VTuber. But no, thank you for sharing that, Smug Alana. That's a nice little bit of restorative faith. Because, yeah, it's just Smug Alana here. Amazing VTuber, amazing personality. I thought she would have been a magnet for that type of that type of thing. And glad to hear that she doesn't mind either, because we do have to recognize, guys, it is a reality. Like, even Lord Intellectual here has been Rule 63 gender swapped with some very impressive jiggle physics added, and I've come to terms with, okay, if that's what people want to do, that's beyond my control, and people can spend their time how they like. It crosses the line when they start to message you weird things out of nowhere, but that's also part of being, perceived on the internet. So if you are going to go into this field, you do need to be aware of that. I do remember, I believe it was the showrunner for the old Kim Possible, the Disney show, when he started up, or was starting up, Kim Possible, he got sat down by Disney, and Disney apparently has a vault of pornography for their characters, and they showed him this pornography and was like, you need to understand that this is going to happen to your characters. And so they prepared him for that, and that's just kind of part of living in the world, I believe. Sexuality is a part of the human experience, and there's no issue exploring that with consent. Just, obviously don't go messaging people about it. So I'm glad Smug Alana's experience here has been positive.
I'm normal. I mean, chat, you're normal if you don't DM people about how you're gooning to them actively. Do you guys not remember the guy on Instagram that we had to permaban from stream? That was like literally sending me messages as I was streaming and then announcing that he was gooning to me? That guy was a freak, but I know for a fact all of y'all aren't like that. Yes, the coffee guy. Yes, the one that said that he would goon to... Never mind. I'm not gonna say it. You guys can go find the clip. It's actually just insane. But anyway, I know y'all aren't like that, okay? We just make fun of it. It's funny. Then we leave it alone. I don't think... If you do this and you blanket your entire audience, you're never gonna have an audience. Because that's mean. That's a mean thing to do. That was a high-level tuggler. High-level tuggler is insane.
That's awesome.
This Emperor tuggler to you, mister. Oh, good golly, the gooners. That's okay. Gooners are fine. Just, just don't DM about gooning in my coffee and having me drink it. Anyway, so this person says in response to the VTuber harsh truth on politics in VTubing. Black people are not political. Trans people are not political. Charities are not political. Disability is not political. Sexuality is not political. Religion is not political. Culture is not political. So when you say you're not into politics as a response to these,
I don't understand the reaction here, I'm going to be honest. I react to a lot of political content, so I sort of accept that I'm a political commentator. But if an individual streamer or VTuber says that they're not into politics and they don't generally make content surrounding politics, then just because they might fit into a certain identity does not mean they are into politics by default. I don't understand why this... what this person is saying here. That reaction doesn't make sense. If they're not into politics, they're not into politics. Their identity is irrelevant.
Okay, we got ourselves a retard here. Okay, first off, nobody says
there we go.
Black people and disabilities are political. Like, that's unironically a straw man argument that you slipped into this list to misrepresent the people that you're talking about, first of all. Everything else on this list is political. You can, like, cope and seethe and maul and shit your pants, but, like, at the end of the day, you're just pretending to not understand this, and then thus making discourse impossible. When somebody says something is quote-unquote political, it doesn't mean it's actually a matter of, like, policy and, Democrats and Republicans. It means that the subject is controversial to the point that it attracts a political crowd. Whoa, no way. And they will get upset at you for having the wrong opinion. I put this in quotation marks. You can't fucking you can't see my fingers, but, like, for having the wrong opinion on that specific subject.
I would still make the argument if the individual streamer does not consider themselves political and is not commenting on the politics, then they are not a political streamer, again, regardless of their identity. I do know what Alana is referring to here in that, I mean, you only have to look at the recent Amaru drama for proof of that, but if a bunch of leftists do find your... And look, it can happen on the right, you know, far more rare for it to happen from right-leaning individuals, but... regardless, people who are obsessed and captured by identity politics, if they see, let's use an example. If they see, let's pull from this list, a transvestite streamer, and that transvestite streamer is not saying "fuck ICE," for instance, that's a popular opinion at the moment, then those people might take offense to that. Or especially if the trans says, well, I don't want to talk about that, or, yeah, but they're like, well, you're transvestite, how can you support these? And the conversation devolves from there. But the streamer had no control over that. You can't control other people's opinions. You can try to influence them here and there, and you can try and direct it. I mean, that's basically what we're doing here, trying to pull both sides back from the extreme. But ultimately, because it's something you have no control over, just because other people call you or want to call you political doesn't mean you necessarily are.
Here's the hard truth. Don't let fat fucking retards like this guy tell you something is or isn't political. If you feel uncomfortable talking about any subject, you're not obligated to talk about it. I know.
Okay, Smug Alana makes an excellent... She puts it excellently there. Thank you, Smug Alana.
No, crazy concept. No way. What? You're allowed to stay silent, and no matter the amount of tears these types of people cry down their fat retarded faces matters. Don't let them gaslight you. Because they're actually completely politically captured and want to...
Exactly what I was saying. Politically captured is another way to say the exact same thing. Thank you, Smug Alana. See, this is why I love reacting. Well, not even reacting. This is just why I love Smug Alana and why I love watching her content. She has such amazing takes like this and puts it so beautifully. Thank you again.
Hear you reaffirm their opinions. It's sad that we have to fucking talk about this, man. Because this all ultimately gets a lot of attention, and people are like, oh... yeah, you have to. You have to talk about all these things, and if you don't, well, then you're a piece of shit. Wah. No, stop it. Get some help. Ooh, this is kind of related, too. Yeah, this is perfect. The best VTubers of all time have never posted selfies or posted anything even remotely political.
Side tangent here about VTubers doing a face reveal or posting a selfie. I think that's an interesting conversation we could have. Now, I won't go too far into it because this is already going to be a long video. But let's use myself and Smug Alana here. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Smug Alana, but at the same time, I am here for her personality, and this VTuber model is what I associate with that personality. I mean, okay, hang on. Let me walk that back a little. I would be absolutely thrilled to meet Smug Alana in real life, and I would be thrilled to shake her hand and be able to have a real conversation with her. But the point I was getting at is that there can be a lot of pressure out there sometimes to do a face reveal from certain parts of the internet. And I do think that should be resisted, and you should make that decision based on what you want. If you want your face revealed, then by all means go ahead. Do be very cautious of operational security there, though, because photos can be tracked, and it's not just by the metadata either. But for instance, if I never see Smug Alana's face, I would still be fine with that, because I enjoy her and her content and her takes and her attitude and her personality. But if you do reach into a certain part of the internet, you can see quite some desperation there to do a face reveal. And we don't even need to go to that extreme. I mean, some people out there are just curious and want to see your face. Generally, I come down on the side of it's a bad idea. and it does need to be given very careful consideration, because when you are using a VTuber model, you are a character. And look, I've said this before, but this Lord Intellectual image here is actually based off of a photo of myself. I built the mask, and then I took a photo of the mask and essentially told an AI to, hey, put this mask on this photo and animeify it. That's essentially how Lord Intellectual came about. Now, the clothes are quite tight on Lord Intellectual, so I can't pretend like it's not accentuating the muscles, because I mean, look at this vest and look at these. Look at this shirt. It's like vacuum sealed to Lord Intellectual's body. I can't get my clothes that tight. It would be great if I could. But by the same time, Lord Intellectual is more or less what I look like, if you're ever curious about that. And I'll say that because I'm never going to share a photo of myself. So you tell me, now that you know what I look like, has that, or more or less what I look like, has that diminished your opinion of me? Has that diminished or increased your enjoyment of my content? Has that changed your opinion of me at all? Let's run a live test and leave a comment below letting me know what you think, because I would also be personally curious if that bit of knowledge has changed your view at all. And if you do answer that question, then also let me know if you would like to see Smug Alana's face. In theory, not actually asking for her to show her face. Just let me know if your opinion of Smug Alana would change if you were to see what she looked like in real life, or any other VTuber for that matter.
I agree, unironically. I do. I don't cover drama slop and culture war and very rarely politics because I want to be the goat of VTubing. I do it because that's what I enjoy.
So I am pausing it far more than I intended. This is going to be a long video, but like to her point, like that speaks to what I was saying to earlier. You need to do content for yourself. Be mindful it needs to be marketable and palatable as well, of course, but you need to make content for yourself. You need to make the content you want to see. I don't cover a lot of political topics because I'm super politically inclined. I cover political topics because I only see left takes and right takes when it comes to politics being covered at all. And I wanted to see that centrist intellectual opinion who is not in one camp or the other. I hold some opinions that lean right-wing. I hold some opinions that lean left-wing. I personally consider myself as an individual that leans very slightly left of center. Not that any left-leaning individuals would really consider me as such these days, but I am out here making the content that I want to see, and you all seem to enjoy that. And if it's content that you're not enjoying, by all means, please go spend your time somewhere else. There is no hard feelings there, because this is the type of content that I make. And there's a few other things that I'm excited to do. I have a few different styles of videos that I do want to make, and that's all coming down the pipe as well. But for the most part, if you're here watching my videos, you're here to hear my commentary and hear that intellectual commentary on these topics. I'm not here being contrarian or being rage baiting on a lot of these highly contentious topics because I'm trying to rage bait an audience into following me. If I'm rage baiting someone, then or if someone has followed me because they have perceived me as rage baiting them, then I have not communicated my opinion clearly enough. So what she's saying here about not targeting political topics because she's not feeding the outrage machine is basically what she's trying to say. I 100% agree with, and I emphasize with, because that's essentially exactly what I'm here. If I had it my way, I'd never go near a political topic because it is so contentious. But I feel as if we do need the intellectual view on that, and it needs to be out there, and it needs to be documented and archived, and hence that's exactly what I'm here doing.
But if you ask me personally, who my goats of VTubing are, I wouldn't say anyone that's like me. Of course not. Or me. I would not say I'm the goat of VTubing. I'm not. It's the truly entertaining girls who are really, really cute and witty on the spot, and they can sing and maybe dance or both.
see, Smug Alana, I don't think she's giving herself, and we're going to stray into me editorializing here, but I don't think Smug Alana is giving herself enough credit here. She is highly entertaining. She's extremely quick-witted, which is why I love following her. She gives excellent takes, and she does have a very consistent logic there. Okay, she does use a lot of provocative language, as we find quite typical on this channel, but she's very entertaining. She's reactive to her chat. Puppeteering these VTuber models whilst keeping up with chat, whilst reacting to the content, and whilst keeping a coherent train of thought can be quite difficult and does require a certain level of talent and competency. I mean, what she's talking about, the energy. I mean, if you want a perfect example of that, you can go look at my friend Lusty Lynx, because she is one of the highest energy VTubers I think I've ever seen. She is amazingly fun, and she is the exact type of person that Smug Alana is referring to here. And I have zero doubt that Lusty Lynx is going to go very far, very fast. She's been doing it a little while now, and she's in the middle of a subathon at time of recording. But yes, I know for a fact that Lusty Lynx is going to rise to the upper echelons, just because she is such an amazing personality, and she does come across as so genuine. So I do look forward to that. And hey, if you guys want to jump on the bandwagon early so that you can say you were one of her early followers, you can go check her out. But enough shilling for Lusty Lynx here. That's that's not the point of this video. But we do love to spread the love around, and it is relevant. But back to my original point, I don't think Smug Alana is giving herself enough credit here. So Smug Alana, on the off chance that you are watching this, I don't expect that you will be, but on the off chance that you are, do give yourself some credit. You are an amazing VTuber in and of your own right. Well, you're just an amazing content creator in general, and there's a reason I've been following you for years, long before the existence of Lord Intellectual, and why I will continue to do so for quite some time.
And they're really funny. Yeah. I don't think I'm the GOAT. I just do it because I'm fun. Like, it's just what it is. That's definitely not new. Yeah, no, I can't sing. I can't dance. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Yeah. Fillion, guys, whatever your GOAT is, I totally agree.
Quick archival reference, GOAT stands for greatest of all time, very similar to Oshi, aka Kama Oshi, which comes from the Japanese VTubing and idol spheres, I believe. Oshi basically just means a favorite, and Kama Oshi means most favorite.
Wait, you don't sync on this channel? No, I don't. But my point is that, yeah, I honestly agree with it. Yeah, I think that most people who are like in Hololive are, you know, very private people. They might have past lives and stuff, but for the most part, they keep that separate enough that people will just have... Basically, you're playing a character at that point. I'm playing a character too, obviously. I don't act like this in real life. However, I do think there's like a respect for kayfabe that I have. You can also not have that respect, which is fine. It's your personal opinion. But I do think that kayfabe, or kayfap, or however the fuck you say it, I think it is like important to an extent. What? It's basically keeping your real life separate from your character that you play, which is your VTuber character.
Also known as operational security.
That second anyone points it out, you climb up. Shut up, man. My singing's cringe. I'm not a GOAT like the Hololive girls. I don't think I am. No, sorry. I think they're in another league of their own. I think they're entertainers in their own right, in their own way. I don't think they have to like acknowledge anything political, and that's perfectly fine. I enjoy a lot of...
I'm just going to pause it and ask my audience here. Do give Smug Alana a ping to this video. Obviously, don't harass her about it. But this is my, and previously was my genuine take. This is not me chasing clout or just trying to suck up to Smug Alana here. But I do genuinely think she is amazing, and she is my Kama Oshi. And I would like her to see that if this is the opinion that she holds of herself. So definitely give her a ping on social media to try and get her to at least watch the clip. Maybe I'll release it as short, so she doesn't have to watch the whole video. But I suppose timestamps will help there as well, because yeah, I think she does need to hold a slightly higher opinion of herself, but she could also just be being humble here, and that does that speaks volumes to her character.
Hololive content, I do. I like Fuamoko. I fucking like Raora. Yeah, there's a lot of goats in my Hololive list. Bow, 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 bow. Yeah. They just don't like VTubers being more popular than them? I don't get it. I don't know, maybe I just don't have this ego thing, like, where I feel the need to, like, if number go up, yeah, that's nice, but, like, if it goes down, like, I feel like anybody who says, like, oh, this person fell off, like, I think that's cringe. You're one of those number Andy types, you are part of the problem.
That is an excellent point. Now, I'll phrase this in terms of VTubing specifically, but this applies to basically any creative field or any field that is reliant on the attention economy. It can be very, very easy to get over-focused on the numbers and to tie all of your individual self-worth to the numbers. And I know this might be a little contradictory of me, considering my numbers have just been going straight to the goddamn moon by the looks of it, but when I first started, like, the first 5 videos of this channel got initially less than 50 views, and I remember I was ecstatic when the view counter started to go up by 1 or 2 or 3, because my goal was always just to put these opinions out there and act as that historical primary source. So when people actually started watching it, it was an extreme amount of elation that I felt. I do have to be honest there, but I also feel I have an advantage because I ultimately don't care about the numbers. Now, obviously, I would like my videos to reach as many people as possible, because then that means I'm making good content, and and it's a viewpoint that people want to see. But because, again, this ties back to what I was saying before, I'm not making this for that clout or with the goal of getting famous. Which a lot of other people do secretly do. I mean, it's natural to want to see the numbers go up. That's just built into humanity as a default setting. So don't be ashamed of it either. But don't allow either a lack of numbers or a turn in numbers to undo your hard work. You need to keep creating your content, keep speaking your truth, keep doing what you're doing, regardless of the numbers, and then the numbers will follow in their own time. Because if you do tie your self-worth to the numbers, you're going to start thinking differently. You're going to start thinking in terms of, okay, what's going to make my number the highest? What's going to give me the most number? And then you'll start to change your content, which is exactly what your audience didn't come to you for. Your audience came to you for you. So you need to stay true to yourself. I'll use another example. Skyebrows is popping off, and I've been heavily tied to the Skyebrows sphere of influence by complete accident, I mind you. But obviously, a lot of people are giving him suggestions for videos and that type of thing. He actually stopped by a stream that I did with Keen, a VTubing friend of mine, a little while ago. And since I had his ear, I did go out of my way to point out, like, hey, we are here for you, Skyebrows, because chat was going insane once Skyebrows joined, giving him suggestions for videos and what they wanted to see. It's like, it's always great to consider your audience, but we are here for you and your creative vision, and you are the one that created this content that we love. So please stay true to yourself. And if I'm going to say that to Skyebrows, I'm going to say that to everyone here as well. Even if you're not a content creator per se, many of you will be viewers and viewers alone, and that's totally fine. You can apply this to other areas of your life, because this is not something that applies just to VTubing. Whether you're an author, whether you create something physical, whether that's a product, whether you provide a service, or whether you basically anywhere you have to interact with another human being is where you can apply this. And there are a lot of talented people out there, so please don't doubt your own talents.
Yeah. I guess sharing your day in life, but I think it really comes down to frequency and cleverly mingling it with your character, or just keeping it separate. Yeah, I think there's an art form to it. I genuinely do. I think there's a lot of girls that role play a little bit into the, I'm a fox, and, like, maybe I'm going outside, here's my fox cave. I don't know, like, you take a picture of, like, I don't know, like, you outdoor hiking or something. Like, there's character storytelling, I guess. I think there's a way to weave it in. Yeah.
So Banana Juju, I believe, is an excellent example of this because she is quite heavy on her roleplay, but the way she approaches it is she's in on the joke along with her audience. So she'll roleplay it, but she'll do it with a wink towards the audience. And whilst that's definitely not the only strategy, I like the way that she does it because you build that camaraderie with your audience and those who do want to see the actual roleplay, and a lot of them secretly do. It's the best of both worlds. And then when she goes offline and she goes on Twitter, like she'll feed into it a little, but she'll also be her true self, I believe. When I say true self, I mean not so much the roleplay. I mean she's still Banana Juju as opposed to the person who plays Banana Juju. But if you did want to see a good example, then definitely go check out some of Banana Juju's content with an eye towards how she handles her roleplay. She's probably the best example I could think of.
Again, these are all my opinions. If you disagree with me, that's fine. I don't really care. Like, you can be like, I'll take Alana. I'll be like, okay, that's fine. I don't care. I thought this one was kind of interesting. If you're decent in 3D, you will never run out of work opportunities because the market is not as saturated, then the skill ceiling is much higher than 2D. I don't know. I don't know about the never run out of work part. The reason the 3D market isn't as saturated is because people don't like it as much.
Quick note here, note that this is also coming from a 3D modeler. I disagree mostly with what they're saying. I don't believe it's a hostile take or anything like that, but it is also important to note that this is coming from someone who would have a vested interest in people purchasing 3D models by the looks of it. So just bear that in mind.
And it costs way more to get started in 3D. Like, you guys think that 2D VTubing takes a lot? 3D VTubing is on top of that with the equipment. Because 2D, all you need is a phone, realistically, but with 3D, you need the model and you need all the equipment, which is a lot of money. Yeah. It's a very large reach to say, like, yep, you'll never just run out of work. It's that easy. That's not how it works. Like, I do, however, agree. I will agree with the last part. I do think that 3D skill ceiling is way higher. It's one of the reasons I look up to Fillion so much. If you ever try to see what she does, even just with her camera work and VR chat, it's so hard and it takes so much practice. When I did that collab with her and Cha-Cha, I had so much more respect for her post that stream. I was like, holy fuck. Like, I thought it would be, like, at least relatively easy to, like, do all the camera work that she does, her model movement and stuff. And I'm like, I understand now. Like, that's why she's the GOAT.
I will also say, I was there when she basically had a redeem where a fan could join her in 3D, and I believe he had some kind of, I'm going to assume it was a Pepe model. I vaguely remember it being some kind of frog model. Anyone who follows Fillion knows immediately what I'm talking about. But basically, you put a super fan who does have to donate, I believe it was quite a large amount. Do correct me if I'm wrong in the chat there, but to be in the same physical presence, air quote, as their favorite VTuber. Yeah, it went about exactly as you expected. So props to Fillion for handling that with grace and composure, I'll say. That was an amazing watch.
Like, I thought already, like, all her doing backflips and all the physical activity, like, you know, she's, like, an actually really fit person. But the other thing is, like, knowing how to use it. And I'm like, I just gained so much respect for her because I looked back at my stream, because what I like to do when I do collabs, I do watch back some of the footage, and I was like, damn, my camera work fucking sucks. All the movement, my movement of my character sucks. Like, she makes it look so easy. You don't understand unless you're, like, literally there watching her. I miss her too. I think she'll come back. I'm sure she'll come back, chat. This is just a subtle ad. I don't know. Maybe it's just their opinion. I don't really care. I thought it was an interesting point. Yeah, I don't know.
also state, guys, I'm mentioning a lot of VTubers in this video, but this video is specifically about VTubers and VTubing. So if you weren't expecting that, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how else to set expectations.
I do think that 3D is a lot of work, but 2D, you shouldn't completely disregard 2D and be like, no, it's gonna run out of work. It's like, if you're truly entertaining, it doesn't matter. That's why I still use 3D once a week. Because I find it fun, and every stream I do get a little bit better. Maybe I'll get a new setup and it'll be even better than the next time. Yeah, you never know. So, ooh, this one's spicy. Chat, brace yourself. The VTubing space was never a left-leaning space. It has always been center right-leaning. The whole lefty VTuber space is the biggest VTuber-related psyop out there. And this one got a lot of attention. For obvious reasons. I mean, me personally, I've never really cared about what political leaning any single space has. I don't even think about it. I just do my content and what I enjoy. And if people watch that, that's great. That's awesome. Thumbs up. But if we just turn on our brains for like, I don't know, 1 second, the explanation for this is pretty obvious. 99% of VTubers are female. Females are more likely to be left-leaning, statistically speaking. This is a fact. However, their viewership is 99 to 95% male. Males are more likely to be right-leaning statistically. It's honestly that simple. Women,
Amazing take.
No, I'm serious. That's why this is happening. That's why people are like, oh, why are the left-leaning VTubers? It's like,
I mean, just go search the term fuck ice and you'll see quite a lot of them because they were extremely vocal a week or two back.
VTuber space, what do you think? Did you just assume my gender? I think even the most, what is it called? Woman, not woman-centric, Jesus Christ. I'm trying to word this properly, but like, even the VTubers that cater to a lot of female niches, they still have a majority male-leaning audience. Like, I would even say up to like 70%. I think the vast majority would be like 30%. 30% female, 70% male.
Guys, I'll be honest. I was amazed when even 10% of my viewership turned out to be female. So hey, if you're a woman watching this, hey, I see you. I do know you exist. Thank you so much for coming along. But yeah, even my viewership is definitely 90% male, at least according to YouTube statistics. And I was honestly expecting it to be at 99% permanently. So the fact that I actually got an extra 9% female viewership is something that is, I consider, quite interesting. And I would like to have a deep dive and breakdown of that at some point. If you are a woman watching this, please leave a comment below and tell me what brought you to my content specifically, because it does skew so heavily towards a male audience, as does most political content, especially right-leaning content. And I'm not particularly right-leaning here, but again, depending on who you ask, being a centrist is right-leaning nowadays. But yeah, I want to hear from you.
The Niji sisters? Yeah, I would say so. Currently, I'm leaning left in my chair. Look at Mugenics. It doesn't matter what... Again, Mugenics is funny because a lot of people have a lot of influencers from different spectrums, right? With freaking Ethan Klein and iDubbbz and that whole fiasco. At the end of the day, they didn't really care as long as the game was good. I don't care what the game devs' political opinions are. If he's got a good game, I don't care. And I think that's relevant to streaming. At the end of the day, if people tolerate your opinion and they think that you're cool, even if you have some certain political leanings, people will still watch you because you're entertaining. Yeah. Oh, this is another hot spicy take. Holy moly. There we go. This is controversial. Your favorite VTuber is probably in a relationship.
So I saw this in real time, and of all the tweets that I saw, this one was the closest I came to retweeting and responding to and adding my own take. But ultimately, I figured I couldn't do it justice within the realms of the character limit on Twitter/X. Now, I know this will be a whole video in and of itself if I start to do a deep dive on this, but this somewhat ties back to what I was saying before about seeing a VTuber's face. The women who do VTubing are, by their very nature, for the most part, personable. That's part of being entertaining. And when you have an attitude that people will flock to, when you have a personality that people will flock to, do you honestly believe that a single one of these women will have any issue finding a partner in real life? Now, let's use Smug Alana as an example here, because she is on screen. In real life, does she literally look like her VTuber model here? No, of course not. She's not going to. And she did say earlier that, she puts it on a little bit for the VTuber act. And yes, that's true as well. But some of that is going to bleed through to real life. And we've seen this get very toxic within the Japanese idol community. But they're not going to have any issue finding a partner. They've already got people lining up to be their partners just because of what they do on screen. There'll never be for want of a lack of choice, let's say. So to expect them to not have a partner, I think is an incorrect consideration. Now, obviously, some are going to be single for various reasons. It could be choice. Doesn't matter. But you should watch your VTubers with the idea that they are in a relationship. Now, having said that, I also believe it's a very bad idea for most female VTubers to sort of rub that in their audience's face or bring that up. There was a very famous incident, I think about a year ago. I watched Asmongold react to it, where a female VTuber, started talking about her partner, which isn't an issue in and of itself. But then she started posting this fan art of the male partner being highly possessive of this female VTuber, and she lost a lot of subscribers not a huge amount, but she was complaining about losing a lot of subscribers because of it. And my immediate thought, which actually Asmongold reflected, was, well, yes, you are there, at least in part. It does depend on the type of content and audience you've cultivated, but you are there as an object of desire. You are there for entertainment. You are there for some form of escapism. Let's be honest. And to break that immersion is going to cost you the audience that is there for that immersion. I think most people will understand that, yes, you are going to have a partner in real life. Like that's just a reality. And someone who would go to their air quote favorite VTuber and expect them to be, single just so that they can be available for fantasies is not someone you should cater to, because that is most likely a disturbed individual, or at the best interpretation of that argument, they would be a individual who is not in touch with reality and not considering the person as a person. But yes, having said that, your goal is to be available but unobtainable. And when you have been obtained by someone else, especially when that someone else is being shown as being highly possessive and somewhat aggressive in that stance, then you've just turned your audience into cucks, essentially. And despite what pornography might have you believe, people who enjoy being the cuck is very, 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 very minuscule. I mean, look, to each their own. If that's your bag, then go get it and don't let me stop you. But given that you're trying to appeal to as wide an audience as possible, you do need to understand that, that's not going to go particularly well for you. So people do need to understand that your favorite VTubers are extremely likely to be in a relationship and just don't talk about it. But then again, this tweet saying, your favorite VTuber is probably in a relationship, it seems aimed towards people who are in the extreme minority.
And honestly, I think this picture summarizes it the best. I should have guessed the one post that would be more popular than the politics post would be this one. Look, this one has 200k. This one has almost 500,000, and it's a quote retweet. But here's the thing. I think a lot of VTubers actually aren't in relationships. At least the bigger ones. Now hear me out. The reason is because one of the biggest nightmares of any VTuber is getting doxxed. It's like one of the worst fears. I've had nightmares about it. Yeah, sure. Like, everybody gets worried. And there is no bigger risk to getting doxxed than for a VTuber to get into a relationship and then tell that person that you're a VTuber. Like, you can obviously hide it, but at the end of the day, sometime, if you're in a long-term fucking relationship, you're...
It's like, yay, we have Smug Alana talking about operational security. Didn't have that on my bingo card.
going to fucking get found out, right? Or the person that you're dating is gonna find out what you do if you do it full-time, right? And then you tell that person you're a VTuber, and then they learn who you are. And then what if, chat, the relationship sours and you break up? Ugh. What if that person's an idiot and they can't keep their mouth shut? What if they get back at you and, like, leak your information? I don't know. What if they tell their best friend that they think they can trust, and then that friend leaks your info? Like, nobody talks about it, but I feel like a lot of VTubers would easily come to the conclusion that staying single is probably the safest way to, like, preserve and keep your career safe and not get doxxed. And I know there's examples, you know, like Cinder and others with, like, secret boyfriends, but I think the implication, and this is all a guess, not saying this is fact, but I think the implication is that they were in those relationships before they started VTubing, which we know with Cinder. She did say that. She said she did ASMR and then she moved on to VTubing, right? I think if you start VTubing when you're single, what I said definitely applies. Yeah. Isn't Nimmy Nightmare married in public with it? Very one-off, though. Yes, I'll get to that. That's actually a very interesting thing I wanted to cover, too. There's more posts I wanted to show you guys, but I will talk about it. Yeah, I just think overall it's very difficult to be a VTuber and then, like, go out. And if you're a relatively popular fucking VTuber, your voice is very, very distinct, first of all. How are you going to hide the fact? Chach was also married. Yeah, but she was in a relationship before she started VTubing. That's what my point is. And she also is very public about it. It's not like she's hiding it. Yeah. It's fine as long as you're not always talking about your SO. I mean, you can say that, but, you know, like the chatter brought up, Nimmy still lost a lot of her viewers. She did, even though she...
So as I've used Banana Juju as an example before, but Banana Juju is probably a great example of the opposite of this, because she does talk about her husband quite frequently, and true credit to Banana Juju, because she'll go on and she'll talk about how big her husband's dick is. And look, gonna be honest, that's an amazing thing to see. Her husband's quite lucky, but she can do that because she has kind of cultivated that audience specifically, and she's not super reliant on the gooners. People watch Banana Juju because of her roleplay and her personality and her attitude, and she's done it so partly because of she's talked about it so frequently. It kind of weeds out the people who would be against that. Now that does limit your potential audience, but she has cultivated a very loyal following. So if you do want to see an example of that, Banana Juju is, again, I've used her as an example in multiple instances in this video, but she does do that. She does talk about her husband quite frequently and in a semi-sexual manner as well, which usually would be a very big big no-no. But then again, she also doesn't do so in a way that kind of cucks her audience. So I suppose that's also another point of distinction there. Anyway, I'm not going to comment too much about the sexuality of other VTubers because ultimately that is none of my business. But, you know, she does make those comments publicly. So I figured I would just point that out as a good example of, you know, the right way to do it and how you can cultivate an audience that will allow and support that type of stuff.
She's not super public about it. Oh, there we go. Okay. VTuber fans in person are a lot nicer than you think. When I host guests at conventions, they're always super engaging despite sensing that they're not the most social butterflies. And there's a lot more girls watching you than you realize. A lot of them look up to you. What? I have girls watching? There's no way. There's no way. How's that harsh? I wouldn't say this is more of a harsh. I just think this is a truth. And some people think that you're going to be like a massive social butterfly when you're in person. I am not. I can't handle social interactions. I wouldn't say I'm fake, but like I want to put my best foot forward and I can't like I don't know. I'm scared of being myself.
So let me use a recent example, because guys, I do like to come across as quite articulate, and I do put a lot of effort. I do stumble over my words a fair bit here and there because I do talk at speed as part of what we do here. But I am absolutely abysmal at talking over text, and I only need to use lusty links as an example because we've been talking via X recently, direct messages, The articulateness can sometimes be a little bit overbearing. It sounds like I'm smelling my own farts a little bit much. And credit to Lusty Links because she hasn't given the impression that that's what she thinks of me at all. But sometimes you need to communicate slightly differently, or you have talents for communication in different medium. I like to think in the spoken word, and when given the time to fully write out in the written language, I am quite articulate and I can communicate quite well. But when it's just a direct message with someone, with no one else around, even I feel like I struggle. So Lusty, if you are watching this and I've come off as awkward at any point, I do apologize. I do really enjoy your content, and I'm glad we're planning all of these collabs and whatnot, and hopefully those will eventuate in something. But even when I'm talking to other VTubers besides Lusty, it's I am used to being in a position of command, and I am used to having people do what I say because I do need to make snap decisions. So when it comes time to walk that back and actually be, oh no, this is just another private citizen who has every right that I do. I have no power, no command over this individual, and I don't have that authority. Then it can be a little bit jarring for me. So if I have spoken to anyone and come across as a little aloof or incompetent, I do apologize. But by the same token, everyone has been quite friendly and doesn't seem to have caused any issues so far. All that to say and all that to highlight, like, yes, I have no trouble believing that VTuber fans are nicer in person, and that even if you do pick up that they might not be the most outgoing or the most extroverted of people, there is still good faith communication happening there. And being a little off kilter or a little awkward, I don't believe is any kind of problem. What this post is implying, where you have that super awkward Reddit neckbeard autistic kind of super mega fan who would, you know, publicly say, oh yeah, I love gooning to you, I would expect that to be in the extreme minority.
So I put a mask on when I interact with people that I don't really trust. And again, I've been told, like, I'm really, really nice, I'm very polite, I'm very soft-spoken, and I'm not rude at all. Like, I'm never rude, but I know that it's not me. Does that make sense? I'm an introvert? Yeah, I definitely am. I'm 100% an introvert. But there are extroverted VTubers out there. I totally get that, too. No. Isn't everybody like that? No. No, not everybody's like that. And again, I don't think this is even a hot take. Like, yeah, obviously, if VTuber fans were like truly these sweaty, cringe, fat, chud losers with like social autism, then why are so many VTubers willingly to like, they're willingly going to these meet and greets IRL,
at great risk to themselves, I might add,
at conventions and TwitchCon every year? Like, just apply, like, this bare minimum logic when you actually think about it. If the fans were really that heinous, The girls would never do a meet and greet after the first one. I think a lot of people are very, very nice. They're very polite, just like me. They just want to like put their best foot forward. If I had to go to a TwitchCon or whatever, or some other convention, and if I met my fans, I bet you we would have a very funny interaction of us being so exceptionally polite to each other that we would be like, yeah, hi, hello. Hello, how are you doing? Yeah, like, I think it would be very nice. After the situation, everything will change. Well, let's just say in a hypothetical situation, it wouldn't be a TwitchCon, it would be another con or something. Hi! Hello! How are you? I bet you 99% of people are very, very nice. Because that's what people are. They are generally nice speaking. Generally speaking are very nice. Jesus, I'm being a Yoda today. But again, that's never the case with people being like, oh no, they're just a bunch of sweaty, cringe losers. It's like, actually, no, they're not. Like, the majority are not. There are exceptions, of course. There are people who are very cringe and they stalk people and they're very mean to them. But I would say 99.9% are very kind. They're usually.
I've said something similar about my audience in the past in that because I am a centrist and I do comment on both sides, a lot of left-leaning individuals have accused me and my audience of being right-leaning. And of course, tried to paint them as the usual, you know, Nazis, chads, whatever, you know, insert derogatory comment here. But part of the reason I actually stood up and started doing this is because, well, no, that's actually not the case. The vast majority of individuals who hold these, what you consider to be right-leaning opinions, are actually just regular everyday people, sometimes all the way down to just straight normies who have just been disenfranchised through no fault of their own. And the fact that you're being so hostile and so derogatory is only pushing more people towards the air quotes right as you consider it, because you're just such an intolerable piece of shit. For the side that preaches tolerance and inclusivity, they are the least tolerant of the two ends of the spectrum here. And so when Smug Alana is here saying like, oh yeah, there's a stereotype and then there's reality, it's on a different subject, but that is what I'm saying as well. If my audience gets painted as right-leaning for specifically following a intellectual centrist, well then you know that the person making that claim is a bit out of touch with reality and is misrepresenting it. But hey, tell me what you guys think. Are you a particularly right-leaning individual? Because I do know that I have people from both sides following me, or are you more centrist? Let me know what your beliefs are.
Normal people that just want to like look at a cute VTuber. That's it. Hey, I'm not sweaty. No, maybe you're not. Maybe you put deodorant on. Yeah. We're normies? No, I meant normal. Like you do normal things. You have normal jobs or you have normal behavior. I do. I truly believe that. I think the bad apples just give really, really bad names for the vast majority of VTuber fans, or anime and manga fans, or MMO players, or whatever, or gamers. Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go! Come on. What is with my Twitter today? Twitter! I guess this post is so retarded it just won't even load. Okay, there we go. Too many of you are becoming disgusting grifters for a quick buck from unwashed smegma maxers.
Just refer back to everything I just said in my previous comment.
Instead of having dignity and a decent personality for long-term prosperity.
I wonder what this person's definition is. Like, okay, Ayan, Arin, Arshi. I do engage with both sides. So would you consider me to be a smegmaxer or an just someone trying to get a quick buck, even though that is quite opposite of what I'm here to do. Like, I would be interested to hear what your opinion on someone like myself is. Genuinely, I want to have a conversation with you. I'd love it if you popped up in the comments and left your thoughts below so that we can have that conversation and we can have that engagement. Now, I understand that the likelihood of that is going to be absolutely minimal, but as someone who sits in the center, is not in any particular political camp and does try to break things down intellectually with a focus on logic and non-emotional arguments, I wonder what your take on me would be.
Man, you are a bitch. Hoes mad, it do be like that sometimes. You're just mad. Honestly, this is like a hose mad moment for me. Like, god damn, you a bitch. Does she do porn, draw porn? I don't know, I don't want to look. It says 18 plus, I'm not sure.
Be careful, because that gets dangerously close to an ad hominem argument. Even if they do draw adult content, that doesn't mean their opinion would be invalid. We attack the idea, not the person here.
I'm not even gonna give them the time of day. This post is fucking retarded. A large percentage of E and VTubers are just Twitch Thots with an anime avatar. And this got a decent amount of attention too. Again, I wouldn't say it's a large...
I mean, I'm an English VTuber. I'm right here, and I don't believe I'm particularly thoughtish. Guys, do you think, am I a thought? Do I need to do the Harlem Shake here?
percentage, but sure. Yeah, I think this is true. Some girls like doing fansly and doing that kind of content. Like, I don't really care. It's the exact same thing as saying, like, a lot of E and VTubers are just drama slop reactors. Like, yeah, sure. I like doing that content, though. Like, who cares? Don't watch it if you don't like it. Nobody's forcing you to. Not large. I wouldn't say it's a majority. I would say there's a decent amount.
Yeah, a little insight into my channel here. I've reacted to one or two drama slop type things here, but they're actually not my most popular video. Like, they have done very well for themselves from an analytical perspective, but they're not my most popular videos. Some of my political commentary blows them out of the water. So the idea that drama slop reacting would be the most profitable venture isn't correct in my experience. Although, again, I am cultivating my own audience here, so maybe that's just a type of content that is not the highest priority for my particular audience.
Yeah, it's just Wimben. If she breathes, she's a thought! Ooh, here we go. This is the post. Here we go. Lolicons helped create the foundation of VTubing, and if that upsets you, you should leave. I'm not throwing my hat into the ring on this one. I've talked about this probably enough times, but you know what I will say? I think idol culture was also a founding principle of VTubing. Like, a lot of VTubers get mad and upset that, like, revealing they have a boyfriend tanks their fucking viewership. And sure, it does happen, absolutely. Again, like a chatter said before, Nimi is, like, the most prominent example of that, you know? She was in Hololive, and then she transitioned to being an indie, and then she announced getting married, and she tanked, what, like 50% of her viewership on average, I think it was? Yeah, that's just part of VTubing culture. It is what it is. Hololive doesn't let their talents have, like, public boyfriends. It's just part of the game, you know?
See what I was saying before about needing to be available but unobtainable. But in Japanese culture as well, especially in idol culture, there's a much greater emphasis on the idea of purity, and that's kind of where that stems from.
That's a lot, yeah, but I mean, you know, she still does really good for herself, but you know, it is what it is. You gotta take it. Nimi can do it because she can slash 70% viewership for no problem. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I mean. It's like you've already established yourself, and then the people who are left over who don't really care about you getting married, then yeah, they'll keep watching you. That's just part of it. I personally don't really care. I see a lot of people complaining about the idol culture in VTubing. Like, I genuinely, I don't really care. The way my brain works, it's that this is just like a universal truth that you can't change. So I don't really think about it. Does that make sense? Like the sky is blue, or we're all gonna die someday. The government's always gonna try and tax you. Like, and one of those truths is that VTubing is heavily influenced by idol culture. You can't change that. I don't think about whether it's right or wrong. I just think that's the way it is. So why complain about it on Twitter if you can't change it? That's why I think all those posts about people being like, yeah, I have a boyfriend and I lost like 50 followers on my Twitter account. It's like, yeah, okay. Why do you need to announce it to everyone? Like, yeah, that's kind of what's happened. Yeah, okay, and? Like, what are we doing here? What is your post accomplishing other than just you stating like, okay, I lost a bunch of viewers and I lost a bunch of attention? The ones that get mad and say like, oh my god, we need to change VTubing because there's lots of parasocial fans. It's like, no, we don't. Nuh-uh. Actually, leave it as it.
I'd make the argument that parasociality isn't an issue in and of itself, so long as it's recognized and you accept that you're in a parasocial relationship. I mean, look, let me use my own Oshi. I'm a big fan of Amber Paradox. I love her content. I love her takes. But Amber Paradox and I are never going to meet in real life, and I don't believe I'll ever know Amber Paradox on a personal level. Like, I'd love to chat with her and possibly do some collabs with her, should I be so lucky. She did stop by stream the other day, which was absolutely amazing. But you know, Amber Paradox is her own person in and of herself, and I would not allow my beliefs or my expectations to have any impact on her. I mean, I'm constantly joking about her being a tsundere, and she's angrily debating that fact, thus further proving my point. But like, it's just because you don't have that straight back and forth social relationship with your favorite VTuber or with your favorite personality does not mean that that relationship is inherently bad. It often gets phrased like it is, but it only really becomes a problem when you start to see things in it that aren't there, and you start to take things a little bit too seriously. At the end of the day, the person you're watching is there for content and most likely entertainment, possibly, you know, commentary, that type of thing. Like, look, let me use myself as an example here. I adore all of you, and I say that from from the heart and from a genuine affection and feeling. But I also don't know who you are personally, and I am never going to. You and I are never going to meet. But I know the feelings that I get from watching other creators, especially when I see that logical take. I get that little spark of elation in me, and that, oh my god, this is actually a really good take. Someone is stating something that I have believed, but has been nebulous within my mind, and I have been unable to quantify, or I have been unable to articulate. That is essentially what I am here. And if I give you that feeling, then that is the highest compliment I could possibly receive from you. And I am so glad to be able to give you that feeling, to be able to, if I can give you any kind of hope that there are intellectuals out there, and there are people who don't just fall into this tribalist, you know, left versus right type mentality, then that is my job done correctly, and you are more than welcome to take any sense of comfort from that, and I hope that you do. But again, by the same token, I don't know who you are. I don't know what your hopes are. I don't know what your dreams are. I can't give you a personal sort of back and forth, because we are two different people. Now, you can expect me to be an intellectual in basically every situation. That is what I am here to do. But if your Overton window starts to shift and you start to consider intellectualism to be something different, like purely hypothetically, let's say you shift to the left. I'm not saying you would, but just bear with me for the thought experiment and for sake of argument. If you were to shift all the way to the left and suddenly your idea of intellectualism was just parroting the party line, well, then you're no longer going to enjoy my content, because that's no longer going to fit your definition of intellectualism here. Therefore, you're no longer going to receive those feelings of elation, and you might take that as a personal insult, but ultimately it wouldn't be. I haven't changed. I haven't done anything differently. My Overton window hasn't shifted. But if you feel like I am your friend, and I do like to, I would be honored for you to consider me your friend, so long as you understand that I am a parasocial friend, because we don't hang out, we don't go grab pizza, we don't do anything like that. But if you genuinely considered me your friend on a personal level, and then that shift in you happened, well, you might feel a sense of betrayal, and that might cause you to lash out. And that's where we start to get into the issues of parasocial relationships. And that's where you start to get all of these issues. People will feel that connection with a creator and start to take those types of things personally. That's when you cross the line. And that's what the vast majority of people are talking about when they talk about parasocial relationships in a negative light. But so long as you recognize the boundaries and the realities of a parasocial relationship, and you are okay with that, then I believe it can be a perfectly fine and perfectly healthy thing to both have and do. But anyway, that's my opinion on it. What do you guys... I've asked you to leave comments like 5 or 6 times in this video, but I do genuinely want to hear what you have to say, particularly because we are talking about the VTubing sphere here, and the idea of a parasocial relationship is particularly relevant to our particular culture. So let me know what you think, because having that breadth of opinions and that breadth of thought is always an excellent thing, and one of my favorite things about my videos personally. So please leave that and let me know what you think.
It is. It's great. Thanks. Then what happens if you break up? Yeah, then you announce that you broke up, and then people will question you and say that you're lying. That's another thing. I didn't really think about that. If you announce that you have a boyfriend or a husband or whatever, and then you announce that you're divorced, people will doubt you, because it's like, oh, what if you're doing this because you lost a bunch of, like, attention, or you lost a bunch of, you know, revenue, because obviously people are watching you less and giving you less money. Yeah. People are always gonna doubt you. So, you know, it is what it is. Yeah. We've seen it happen. Have we? I don't know. Streamers like Pokemon Hyde having boyfriends, not really a VTuber's problem specifically. Yeah, I would say it's like, I don't know, streamer culture, idol culture, I think it's kind of almost one and the same. I think, this is gonna be a hot take, I think that there is an extent that this affects men. Not as much as women, obviously. Take that with a grain of salt. But I do think there are men out there who don't want to watch a man be with their girlfriend publicly, or like showing their girlfriend or wife on stream, because it irks them. And that's a completely valid feeling. That's totally fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with thinking like that, because it's like, I don't want to be reminded that I'm single. I just want to watch this guy rant or like play video games. Like, I get it. If the shoe's on the other foot and you're a chick and you're watching a guy be happy with his girlfriend, do you really want to keep watching them? Like, I don't know. It's the same thing. It is what it is. And yes, some couples are fun. I'm not saying that couple content is bad. I'm not saying that at all, but at the end of the day, some people get irked by that, and that's totally valid. Stuck in the cock game chair. No, you can't be happy. Then the angry video game nerd got people upset because he's married with children. I don't know. I actually know about AVGN. I didn't know he had a wife. The anime guy Joey said he lost viewers. Wait, what? When he said he was dating that other girl. His wife lost a portion too. Yeah, it is what it is. AVGN has a wife and daughters. I see. I'm not that terminally online that I know about all this stuff where it's like, oh, well, this person used to be single and they got a girlfriend. I didn't notice any. Excuse me, Jesus. I didn't notice anything. AVGN is not a fucking loser like me. I'm gonna unsubscribe. Bad burp. I think that was acid reflux, actually. That was not a burp. That did not feel nice. I took a sip of water and then I just spat it back out. Ew. Anyway, yeah, I think like you can disagree with me and stuff and be like, no, Alana, you're wrong, but this is my truth and this is my honest opinion. I don't think it's that deep. TLDR, there's a lot of VTubing truths, but there's also a lot of VTuber lies, like with these people that try to make it like about politics and shit. Like, fucking leave people alone. Let them do what they want. If you want to be political so bad, just fucking do your own thing and then don't complain when people don't really watch you, unless you're really entertaining, I guess.
There we go. Excellent takes from Smug Alana. I really enjoy her content. I hope you enjoyed that too, guys. So to break that down, like, she's just, yeah, go ping Smug Alana politely. She doesn't have to watch the whole video, but I would like her to see at least that minute or two in there where I do give my genuine reaction on her, because I feel like she might need that. Not that, I shouldn't use the term need, but it would be good for her to see that, hopefully, so that she realizes, hey, she is higher up than she expects. And look, I've never spoken to Smug Alana directly, so there's no I suppose, what am I trying to say? I'm not just saying this to glaze her. Like, we're not friends in real life, or of course not in real life. I mean, we aren't friends online, and so I'm not just defaulting to singing her praises because of that. This is my genuine opinion, and it might be nice for her to see that, so that she realizes that. I think she has a harsher opinion on herself than she strictly needs to. So maybe that'll help and give her something to consider. But again, don't absolutely spam her. I would love it for you to go ping her, but don't, like, if she doesn't want to, don't constantly chase her up. I always do get a little bit worried in that regard, asking people to go ping another creator. But in this instance, I think it would be good for her to see it. But with that, guys, that was an excellent video in my opinion, from Smug Alana. Always love to see her content. And a really good, if you're not familiar with the VTube sphere, I suppose a good introduction, because I do know a lot of you do come here for political commentary, and you might not strictly be aware of what a VTuber is. So I hope that did help clarify some things. And also, yeah, I suppose we'll add that to the archive. So if you're watching this in, 10, 50, 100 years, I hope that gave you a primary source and some good information to help you understand the people of today. With that, guys, let me do all of the regular YouTuber things. If you did like, actually, that reminds me. Oh no, I already liked it. Never mind. But if you did like the video, definitely like and subscribe. We do always have to be aware of shadow banning. The algorithm does limit our reach on certain videos because they are quite. It's just the nature of being a political commentator. Even though I am quite centrist and I do give both sides airtime, and I do try to keep things very civil. I mean, the whole point is we are trying to drag people back to a civil discourse. Just by the nature of some of the topics we cover, the algorithm does not like a lot of them. So a subscribe always helps, and helps get this content delivered directly to your inbox and your subscription list. And definitely, I'm going to, it's been 7 or 8 times at this point, but leave a comment below if there is anything you would like me to react to, as I always love receiving viewer requests, and they all do go on a great big list. I do check out every viewer request to see if it is something that I would be able to react to, and we do pull from that from occasion. And I love reacting to things that you guys want me to, because it is the highest compliment that you see something and think, I want Lord Intellectual to react to this. So I do appreciate that. But with that, guys, I've gone on long enough. Thank you so much for your time today. And yeah, I'll let you get back to it. Enjoy.